Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. In theory, this still counts as a morning breeze, right? It's still a morning breeze. You know what I mean? Nothing, a little later, but it's still a morning breeze. What's good, Chicago? It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Morning Breeze. Got some interesting news. Figured why not come give it to you right now, as Pete Carroll seemingly interested in the Chicago Bears head coaching job. Now, Pete Carroll is 107, and this would be an interesting hire by the team. But we got to talk about that and the reports on possibly should the Bears go after Mike McCarthy. All that and more in today's episode of The Morning Breeze. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's jump straight into it, man. Let's jump straight into it because this coming from Adam Schefter. By the way, if you have not done so, I need y'all to go ahead and
come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Push the goddamn button. No, appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. This is from Adam Schefter today, senior NFL insider for ESPN. Said Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl winning coach Pete Carroll has expressed interest in the Chicago Bears head coaching job and would like to return to the sidelines next season, league sources tell ESPN. Now, I know everybody instantly is going to go to, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the world. Why the heck would the Bears ever be interested in Pete Carroll? I will say this. It's very Bears to go out and hire a guy like Pete Carroll when you say you're going to do this extensive coaching search. You go out and get the guy who was born in 1951, the 73-year-old former USC Trojan, Seattle Seahawks head coach. But I mean, we do have to look at it in a couple of different lights. Number one, he is one of only 4 coaches to have led both a national championship team and a team to the national championship and a team to the Super Bowl. That would include him, Barry Schweitzer, Jimmy Johnson, and Jim Harbaugh. You do get some of those Harbaugh vibes when you talk about Pete Carroll. But the biggest problem for me is the age. If we're not going to go out there and look seriously at Bill Belichick, and I don't know if age was the main reason there, but I think you kind of got to let some of these older guys pass by. There's a few teams that are out on the market, though, and this is the one thing that I've said. The problem with names like this popping up, the problem with names like possibly Mike McCarthy, if he were to walk away, popping up, is that, again, are you the crown jewel? Are you the team that everybody wants to have? Are you the team that every coach is going to be looking at? I don't know if the Chicago Bears are. Right now, you look at some of the jobs that are possibly going to become available as well as the jobs that are already available. The Bears, Jets, and Saints are all 3 jobs that are already available. Cap space for the Saints is a nightmare, so I don't know if he'd want to go to the Saints. The Jets are a nightmare in themselves. Don't know if anybody would want to go to the Jets. So maybe out of those 3, you feel like the Bears are a good option, but if there's a new GM situation coming in New York with the Giants and you're moving on from Brian Daboll, why wouldn't you want to take that situation? Could you possibly say that even though Zach Taylor may make the playoffs, right, that job becomes open? To me, that then becomes the crown jewel. And I understand it, but it's you have to have names like this on the list because you may be in a situation where you do have to turn to Pete Carroll. Am I going to say I want Pete Carroll? Heck no. To me, that would be worst case scenario. But do I think that Pete Carroll can come in and set a culture? Do I think that Pete Carroll can come in and hold guys accountable? Do I think that Pete Carroll can come in and change things up? And especially, listen, for who we know Pete Carroll to be, it would be a complete 180 for the McCaskies. Do I think that he can do those things? For sure. The question is, can you do those things long term? You look at the rest of the NFC North, you've got guys that may be here a decade plus. Pete Carroll's not going to be able to coach for a decade plus. You got to look at some guys who, I mean, are going to be on your sidelines for the foreseeable future, because what you're going to have to go up against, the competition that you're going to have to be facing when you look at Kevin O'Connell, when you look at Matt LaFleur, when you look at Dan Campbell, of those three, you have to be realistic about those three are long-term coaches. Maybe Dan Campbell gets out of there first. I can see him kind of wearing thin on some people if things don't continue at this winning pace that they've gone on. But I mean, if you're throwing his name on the list, it's not the worst name I've ever heard on the list. Paulie G with the super chat, shout out Paulie G, said he wanted full control and GM wants it. LMAO, Warrens and Poles ain't having it. Mike McCarthy's a good coach, though. His team is playing hard. Yeah, I want to talk about Mike McCarthy as well. Alex immediately with the super chat said, no, too old. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm with you. I think the age is the biggest problem. I think the age is the biggest problem. You know what I mean? Give me Pete Carroll 20 years ago. Yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in. I like the energy. I like the effect that he has on a team. I think that he can still have that effect on a team. But you're not getting long-term out of Pete. I don't care how much energy he's got. I don't care how much fight he's got. I don't care how much fire is still in his body. He's 73 years old. Father Time loses to nobody. Let's be realistic about this here. Hit that like button if you agree. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. James Claus with a interesting profile picture. And my bad, James. My bad, James. I wasn't expecting that to pop up there. That's it. If Pete is the worst candidate, then we're in a good spot. That is a good way to look at it. I don't look at Pete like some people are going to look at Pete as like, oh, he's a terrible candidate. Why would you ever want Pete Carroll? Like, Pete Carroll wins a lot. He's not a bad candidate. He's just a candidate that if you get to him, you go, wow, we really suck and we need some things to change. To me, Pete Carroll's a candidate who you probably don't look at as the guy who is your long-term piece, but maybe more of the guy who changes the culture in the building for them to be more open to go out and getting some of those other those special head coaches that we talk about all the time. Emilio going with a Carroll over Vrabel. I don't know about that one. I'm not mad at it, but Vrabel's a heck of a lot younger. The age does play a part in this for me. Exactly, YouTube. He's a bridge coach. Like, to me, you go get Pete Carroll, not to say you don't do some winning, not to say you don't get to the playoffs, not because that's the energy that Pete Carroll brings. That's the kind of fire that Pete Carroll brings. So I think that you could do some of those things. But if we're being honest about it, he's not going to be here long term. He's not going to be here long term. Now, I wouldn't mind Pete Carroll for OC. Well, he's a DC, so that'd be interesting. Shout out to y'all, though, man. Shout out to y'all. Hit that like button, man. Muggs rocking here on a Christmas day. Good Lord. 200 on the YouTube side. Oh, hold on. We got over 100 in a chat. Over 200 in a chat. Over 300 in a chat. 211 on the YouTube side, 104 over on the Twitter side, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate you guys for showing love. All right, let's finish it out with this. This is just a quick live, and then I'm going to let y'all get back to y'all families. It was brought up yesterday. Chase Daniels brought this up yesterday about the opportunity of possibly going out and adding Mike McCarthy, who is going to be a free agent. And everybody's saying, he's going to come back to the Dallas Cowboys no matter what. Especially with them putting up some fight in their winning ways kind of towards the end of the year. But he says, listen, why not take a serious look at Mike McCarthy and offer a blank check if you're the Chicago Bears here? Knows the division well, develops quarterback almost better than anyone, and is a leader. Now let's have a real conversation here. McCarthy, to me, as far as winning ways, he wins. Mostly in the regular season of late, but he wins. The Dallas Cowboys find ways to win. He has Cooper Rush playing well, and always has Cooper Rush playing well. He has gotten Dak Prescott to MVP levels of quarterback. I know that he can develop that. Their offenses are usually tops in the league. They crumble at the wrong times. They crumble at the wrong times. I do think that is a history thing. Think about year after the Super Bowl. What was buddy name? Brandon. Oh, I can't remember his last name. Help me out, chat. Muffs the onside kick because he's trying to run it back. Right? Like your team is not disciplined at the right times. How many times have we seen that in these Dallas Cowboy playoffs? Dak Prescott spiking the football in the playoffs. Brandon Bostic, shout out to Davis Beasley. Brandon Bostic. That's exactly who it was. So for me, while the name, again, just like I forget who said it, that Pete Carroll would be a bridge quarterback. To me, that's the conversation you got to have about Mike McCarthy as well. I like Mike McCarthy as far as a guy who can innovate an offense. I like Mike McCarthy as far as a guy who can go out there and develop the quarterback. And maybe that's what you want to see. Maybe that's why you bring him in. You get Caleb Williams, the MVP levels, you're winning 12 games a year. Is the discipline going to be there in the moments that it's most important? That's always my biggest question with Mike McCarthy. I know that he has a Super Bowl championship to his name. He doesn't have many losing seasons to his name. Would a change of scenery change things up for Mike McCarthy? Those are my biggest questions around it, because to me, while I love the fact, again, if Mike McCarthy is the worst that you can do, you've got a decent list. But Mike McCarthy has done well in this NFL. It's just those situational moments when I need you to be situationally disciplined, when I need you to be on point in this moment, his team will screw up. And we expect it. We expect it. 100% we expect it. Paulie G with a super chat said McCarthy has Dak for a QB and an owner who always meddles. Give him 18 with weapons and see what he does. He also probably don't roster say either. Mike McCarthy's probably got a lot of say in that building. Mike McCarthy's probably got a lot of say in that building. But I do agree with you. He has an owner that meddles. He's got guys that are going to get in the way that could hinder you. But Mike McCarthy has a really good team consistently. Like, let's be honest about this. When you look at the Cowboys, we would dream of having a team like the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a number one wide receiver. They have a number one quarterback. They have an offensive line that is a dream to run behind, although a little bit more banged up this season than last season. But throughout McCarthy's time there, they've had an offensive line that has been a dream to run behind. They've got Micah Parsons on the defensive line, who is a single game wrecker. They've had some of the best DBs in the NFL. Their linebacking core has always been top. Like, they have the pieces. You can't say McCarthy hasn't had the pieces. We can't sit here and argue that he hasn't had the best case scenario to go out there and win football games. And they do, just not when the moment's brightest. Is that Dak? Is that more of a Dak issue? Is that more of a discipline issue? Because there've been a lot of issues with the discipline in those moments. Is that a team issue? Like, I don't know. I can't tell you. All I can tell you is what I see in Dallas. Let's not pretend we didn't see a lot of those same things when he was in Green Bay. So for me, while I do think he could come here and develop Caleb Williams, while I do think he could walk into the building and get this offense moving in the right direction, and we'd be excited about it, and we'd be a 12-win team, I also believe we would lose in the playoffs quite a bit. Now, getting to the playoffs is the next step. If you're talking about bringing McCarthy in as the development guy, as the bridge guy, as the culture setter, not a bad name. Not a bad name. But if you're talking about bringing McCarthy in as the guy who's going to win the Super Bowl, I don't know if he's the long-term answer for that. And you have to also understand McCaskey. 100% Willie Beeman. 100%. 100%. You want to know what's funny about this comment here? Chicago Fan Perspective said John Gruden. I'm super out. I'm like, no, we're not getting Gruden. We're not doing it. And then, bro, have y'all seen Gruden? Have y'all seen Gruden like breaking down plays and doing all this stuff with Barstool? He's like setting up the Barstool employees and he's teaching them offense and he's teaching them where things need to go. Dog, every time I watch it, bro. Every time I watch it. I don't want Gruden, but every time I watch it, I swear I'm like, ooh, he still knows football. It's got me feeling nicey. Every time, dog. I'm like, hold on now. This guy might still have something in the tank. But you know what's coming with Gruden. You know the emails are coming up. You know the lawsuit against the NFL is coming up. You know the sexist and racist and homophobic and all of those things are coming up. You know it. And you know the McCaskies would never. But I'm telling you, dog, there's a part of me that's like, nice. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I'm going to get up out of here, man. Just wanted to drop a quick live on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. By the way, we are over 400 in our chat. 400. If you have not done so, please hit that like button. Let's get it over 100 likes, man. I want you guys to go enjoy your families. Go enjoy an amazing day of sports. Enjoy some phenomenal food. And we will be back bright and early tomorrow. Actually, I will not be on the Morning Breeze tomorrow because I will be on ESPN 1000, Pat the Designer, and Shay Norling tomorrow filling in for Cap and Jay Hood. So tune in with us over there on ESPN if you want to listen to your boy over there. I might set up JC to do the Morning Breeze here still as well. As always, man, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bet on one love is gross. Peace.